Welcome to the Cryptonomatron. Thanks for joining me today. In this video, we're going to be talking about OriginTrail. But if this is your first time here and you want to know more about ICOs, Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, blockchain and other related stuff like that, then click on that subscribe button, click on that bell notification icon, and you'll get notified as soon as I upload content and as soon as I go live. All right, thanks for doing that. Today's video is about OriginTrail, so let's get right down to it. So OriginTrail is the first purpose-built protocol for supply chains that's based on the blockchain. And now what they intend to do is offer a unique solution that allows IT providers within the supply chains already to set up blockchain-supported data sharing in a multi-organizational environment. It helps them then build transparency and also traceability as well. So it also improves the integrity of the product data and drives efficiencies for the stakeholders. The first version of the OriginTrail solution is proven. It's currently deployed for the food industry, and the upcoming open source version, according to the white paper, will be suitable to any product supply chain such as automotive, consumer goods, pharmaceutical, etc. So that's from the white paper in their own words. So let's take a look now at what they do, what they're going to do, where they've been, where they're going to go, competition, and the rest of the stuff surrounding this project. So traceability throughout the supply chain is quite an important thing to monitor. And as you can see from this website here, the use cases are highlighted in this demonstration, and it's a lot easier for me to show you rather than it is for me to explain. So basically, if you have your product from the supermarket, you can then check the barcode, check the expiry date, and then trace it. So we've got some examples here. So we'll click on this chicken. It gives us the barcode. It gives us the expiry date. We click go, and then it takes us to this map. It shows us exactly where the chicken has come from. It says it's a nature premium chicken with added giblets. Lovely. Looks delicious. And then it says which farm it's come from. It has a description of the farm where it is. In this case, it's Slovenia. Also the processor and some other information as well. So that's pretty cool. So we know what OriginTrail do. So who are the competition? Well, the first one that sprung to my mind was TE Food. TE Food are a farm-to-table fresh food traceability blockchain for emerging markets. They're based in Vietnam primarily. They have been active for quite a while now, and they have some big customers that already use their product. So you can trace your chicken, your pork, your fish, your meat, your whatever from purchasing it in the supermarket. You can find out, scan it with your mobile phone, find out exactly where it's come from. Much the same as the demo from OriginTrail that I just showed you does as well. Now, the thing about TE Food is that they've got some big customers, as I already mentioned, in Southeast Asia. They have CP Group, who are the world's biggest chicken producer and exporter, and they're a Thai company actually, but they're based in many countries around the world now. They're a multi-billion-dollar company, and they've got them as a customer, so that's pretty impressive. So that's I guess you would say, especially for the food industry, that's the direct competition. Another competitor may be Ambrosis. Now, I don't know a lot about this particular project, but I know they are combining sensors with the blockchain and smart contracts to build a supply chain solution for monitoring the quality of food in particular and medicine. Now, the advantage that OriginTrail may have over blockchain solutions like Ambrosis is that OriginTrail is actually blockchain agnostic, so it can be used on other blockchains such as VeChain, Ethereum, you name it. It can be applied to many different chains. So before we start talking about the tech then, we need to realize that there are challenges and problems that supply chain is facing. One of them is information asymmetry. This is where the information is unevenly distributed among participating stakeholders within a supply chain. They have misaligned incentives as well. For example, when different stakeholders are different companies, there's no incentive to provide complete information between the two companies. Therefore, information asymmetry occurs. So if you've got information asymmetry, what happens then is, as an end user, as the buyer, you have no way of actually knowing what your end product is, if it's genuine or not, and where it's come from. So this gives rise to criminal behavior, counterfeit goods, etc. And that's where the bad actors come in. And an example of this in the food industry would be horse meat in Findus lasagnas in the UK. It was a big scandal a few years ago where horse meat from Eastern Europe and other places got into the supply chain at some point and was passed off as beef and other meats, especially in frozen products. So two key problems exist. The data is fragmented. There's low data interoperability across the supply chain from different organizations, and also even in single organization supply chains as well. So that's an issue for IT providers. The other main issue is there's no suitable decentralized solution for supply chain data. And that means there's no solution that can provide the needed level of performance, scalability, and trust for the interconnected data in supply chains, whilst at the same time remaining cost effective. So there's no current solution for this supply chain problem. And that's a result because you need to interconnect a lot of data that's inherent to supply chains to authenticate each transaction, if you like. And you know, at the moment, solutions, storage solutions like IPFS, for example, they're great for decentralized storage of documents, but they don't provide the functionality that's needed for the supply chain. So again, current blockchains, let's look at Ethereum and even Hyperledger, Permission Chain for an example. They're not designed for data storage anyway, because you can't really put a lot of information on the blockchain. So we end up at a problem for supply chains in that they need to interconnect this data. They can't use the blockchain to do it, and the decentralized storage solutions aren't ideal either. So we're at a bit of an impasse then. So along comes OriginTrail. That's what they want to do. They want to be the first purpose-built protocol for supply chains based on the blockchain. They're going to tackle these problems. And the first thing they're going to have to do is obviously have a protocol that allows your developers, your IT providers, to easily set up your blockchain-supported data sharing within your supply chain. So some of the values that the protocol is going to deliver are product authentication. I mentioned earlier about counterfeits and horse meat in lasagnas being an issue. Product journey visibility, product recall efficiency, product freshness, especially for perishables for the food industry, chain of custody with accountability, CSR activity support, supply chain mapping and optimization, inventory management, alert systems, supply chain compliance assurance, customs audit, regulations, process optimization, and other supply chain applications that requires transparent supply chains as a starting point. So there you go, a lot of values that are going to be delivered by this project. So in order to have this data flow working, it's got to be interoperable between different blockchains and different systems. Now, in order to do that, you're going to have to standardize the data pretty much, and they're going to use this GS1 standard to do this. Now, GS1 standards, if you don't know, they support the information that's required to end users that are interacting with each other in the supply chains. So they have the information, the specific information that's required to support the business processes through which the different participants within the supply chain interact. So there needs to be a way to check trustworthiness, and this is performed by the protocol in a consensus check, and it verifies there are no discrepancies between the data that's provided by the different participants. Now, this ensures that the entire supply chain is in sync basically with that particular batch of products, so there's no discrepancies, and if there are, then discrepancies are quickly reported, investigated, and potentially reconciled. So any reconciliation of the discrepancies are also recorded on the OriginTrail protocol as well, and the additional information is uploaded as a special reconciliation dataset, which again, subject to the same consensus mechanism. Now, the infographic behind me sort of illustrates the consensus mechanism. So the solution is the OriginTrail protocol, and it runs on an off-chain decentralized peer-to-peer network called the OriginTrail Decentralized Network, or the ODN. Now, you can see it behind me, an example of the ecosystem and the infographic. It basically enables peers on the network to interact with each other negotiate services, transfer, process, receive data, verify integrity, availability, and also reimburse the provider nodes. Now, this solution minimizes the amount of data stored on the blockchain, effectively solving that problem, and reduces costs and makes it much more efficient as well. And you can see from the infographic, the ODN basically works on top of other blockchain layers. It's interoperable with many. It has a data layer and also a network layer, and it can also interact with a lot of decentralized applications built on the back of it. So basically, the blockchain here acts as the platform to ensure the data integrity, which again, for the supply chain is pretty critical. So in terms of where they've been, what they're doing now and where they're going, it's very impressive. They've been on the go since 2013, would you believe? Had an alpha version way back then for organic beef products. And throughout the last couple of years, they've been implementing more beta versions for different products, integrating with different supply chains. They've had over 20,000 unique shoppers using the system and over 1,200 farmers. They are integrating now with the Ethereum test network. They've had trials with the Ethereum main network as well. I believe they completed a pilot project earlier this year. It's detailed in their Medium blog, and you know, they've really started to get taken seriously. They had their ICO. We'll look at that in a second, and they've released their Luna release, their Mecta release in March, and coming soon, I think the Ranger release, if it's not released already, and the Cosmos release as well, which is version 0.6a, and that will include the full GS1 validation, fully implemented blockchain fingerprinting, virtualization, and other impressive features as well. So yeah, the roadmap's very detailed. If you're interested in this project, I suggest you fire over to the website and have a closer look at it. So I mentioned the alpha network is already up and running. They have managed to implement different data sets from 2 organizations, connected them based on those GS1 standards I spoke about. They can store the connected data in a graph database, and also they've performed some basic consensus checks on selected variables as well. The pilot project was successful in January. The Yemishiji, if I can pronounce that, I'll get it by the end of the video probably, and that was successful. And what they did for that was they created a decentralized app built on top of the Alpha testnet and the Ethereum testnet, and plugged it into the product page on the Yamishiji's website. So you could basically check the origin of food products on the Yamishiji website using the OriginTrail blockchain. So isn't that fantastic? Really exciting for this project going forward, I feel. So just before we move on and take a look at the successful ICO they conducted, there have been a few rumors, and I'm not one to spread rumors or anything like that, but there have been a few rumors that there's some major things going to happen. They're going to announce something like 120 different partners that are, or potential customers that are already using the OriginTrail system. And I can believe that, because from what I've seen of it already, it certainly looks very impressive. And of course, it's very functional as well. And they're quite far into the implementation of it all as well. So yeah, that could be quite exciting. And again, if that does happen, it could potentially grow in value quite exponentially, this project. Just to recap on the token sale now, it was successful. They reached a hard cap of $22.5 million. The token price was around 8 to 10 cents, depending on bonuses, which works out about 7,978 Vitaliks. 1 ETH was pegged to the US dollar, 1,255 US dollars. But in actuality, it was a little bit cheaper. I think it was about 960, 980. And this means that tokens were actually cheaper than the 8 to 10 cents quoted. So there you go. Okay, so I wasn't in on the ICO here. I did look at it. I wanted to go in on it, but for some reason, I may have been overseas or something. I actually missed it. But I have had my eye on this project since it went on exchanges in January, and it's not really performed, to be honest with you. Its all-time high was around 47 cents, and that was very early on when it went onto the exchanges, and I expected bigger things of it, to be brutally honest with you. It's now currently at just over 21.7 cents, around 2,274 Satoshi, or 27,553 Vitaliks, which is about a, I would say probably a 3 to 4x in Ethereum terms of where it started. And of course, that's because Ethereum was very, very high against the US dollar at the time of the ICO. So it's potentially quite a good buy in US dollar terms if you're going to buy it in fiat at the moment, or even perhaps in Bitcoin terms. I need to have a closer look at that though. Now, total supply 500 million, circulatory supply 268.2 million. Volume is pretty strong, as you can see. Over $250,000 going through it in the last 24 hours, and a market cap under $60 million at the moment for this project. So would I consider investing in this? Yes, I think at this particular time it represents quite a good entry point. I think if you've missed it already, I don't see it going back down to, say, ICO price in terms of 8 to 10 cents. I think we're way past that now. That ship has sailed a long time ago. So around now, while it's having a little dip, might be time to get in and pick it up, because I think it's got potential beyond a market cap of certainly of $100 million and potentially $500 million as well. So if you're looking to pick this up on exchanges, KuCoin's your go-to exchange at the moment, with IDEX having problems, and I think IDEX is still down, so it won't be available there. HitBTC's got a little bit of volume, but most of the volume's on KuCoin. It's also on a couple of other minor exchanges. Gatecoin's mentioned on the website, but I haven't had a look at that. The team and advisory body is pretty impressive. They have a lot of experience in supply chains and also in implementation of the project as well, since it's been going on since 2013. Tomasz Levak, he's the co-founder and CEO, and Giga Drev, he's the co-founder and COO. Both of them have been involved for quite some time in this project. Now, Branimir Rakic is the other co-founder. He is the chief technical officer, and he's responsible for the actual blockchain, and he's been bringing the blockchain to supply chain since 2016, it says on his little bio there. Advisory body, again, a lot of deep supply chain experience. We've got advisors to supply chains, guys that have worked for UPS before. Also, John Keogh, I think his name is GS1 Global Office Director for Product and Consumer Safety. Ken Leon, he was VP and International Information Services Director at UPS. So yeah, quite a lot of experience and pretty impressive. So this project's already got some partners, or even customers if you like, that are using it already. Yimishiji, I told you I'd get it by the end of the video. The pilot project's already been launched with them successfully. So these other producers, farmers, food suppliers, if you like, they are all involved with this project, and I guess they all recognize the benefits of using it. As well, they've won a lot of awards. I have to point out that they've been awarded a food safety award from Walmart, which again, Walmart, massive retailer, especially in the US. They've also won European Commission Smart Villages Initiative panelists in 2017, Food and City Challenge Prize in Austin, Texas, Open Data Incubator for Europe winner in 2016, and Belgrade Venture Forum winner in 2014 as well. Community support behind this project remains strong. It's got quite a strong following. It always comes up in various Telegram groups that I'm a member of, and other, other trading groups, if you like, as a potential for the future. It's always on people's lips. People are always talking about it, and the team themselves are always updating. The last post on Twitter was just 7 hours ago, I think. There you go. Yeah, they're active on all the different channels as well. They're on Discord, I think, LinkedIn, you name it. They've got a page there. So what do I like about TRAC? Well, there are a lot of things to like about this particular project. I think the tech is great. I think it's innovative. I think it's clever. It's a clever solution to an irritating problem in the shared data on the supply chain. Alpha 0.5a has already been released, which is good. It shows that the implementation is getting somewhere, and the fact that they've had this successful pilot earlier in January this year, there are more users onboarding, and they've had previous customers, and the fact they've been around since 2013 is looking good for this project. It sort of reassures me that they can succeed. And it solves the issues of the supply chain on the blockchain. They can't put information on the blockchain. They can't really use the IPFS or storage, and the other decentralized storage solutions. So this gets around it in a clever and innovative way. Its interoperability is definitely something to like. The fact that it's blockchain agnostic and can work with many different chains is going to be attractive to a lot of potential users here. And there's potentially future staking rewards. You can operate nodes and even masternodes coming in the future. We're not too far away from the ICO price at the moment. We're at 21 cents. ICO was between 8 and 10 cents. So we're not too far away this still presents itself as a potential opportunity at this price. And the market cap hasn't yet gone over $100 million. I think it's pretty inevitable it will do in the future. Under $100 million, around $60 million at the moment. Again, that provides an opportunity. All-time high on this particular token was 47 cents, more than double of where we are now. So yeah, again, steady growth in this one. I think this one is pretty good for the future. And liquidity is decent on 2 larger exchanges and a couple other smaller ones, but it could be much improved. It could launch on Binance or another biggie, OKX or something like that, and then liquidity will be much improved. And again, that's just going to add to the value of this token. Again, there's those rumors about the partnerships coming up as well, which I don't know much about, but again, they're only rumors. And I believe this project has the competitive advantage over its rivals, because if the rivals are implementing their own blockchain technology and competitors or companies, want to use a bigger solution like IBM or one of these other bigger solutions, then those companies lose out, where this can be applied to any different blockchain that you can think of, and that's the advantage here. And it appears to be a community favorite. It's got a lot of following in the community, a lot of people talking about it on social media, even now, a couple of months, 3 months after the launch on exchanges. So what are the risks in this project? Well, the first one is it's already gone up 2.5 times to 3 times from ICO price, and it may just have found its level now. It might already be at its value. I don't think that's the case, but again, it's always a risk. It's not a microcap anymore either. It's not $5 million. It's not $10 million. This is a serious project. It's already had some growth. $60 million, it might not sound like a lot in the cryptocurrency sphere. We've got projects there at $7 billion, $3-4 billion. But $60 million is quite a significant amount of money. So, again, growth may be limited. And supply chain solutions are pretty competitive globally. There's Wabi, there's Ambrosius, there's TE Food in Southeast Asia. There are quite a few of these supply chain solutions that are offering different competitive advantages themselves with hardware solutions. And again, another risk is that this doesn't offer any hardware technology. So manufacturers or distributors may want to go with a provider that has the hardware technology instead of this protocol. And again, we are in alpha implementation at the moment, but they may find it too difficult to fully implement this project. So again, you've got to be aware. I don't think that's going to be the case, but that does present itself a risk because it's not already been fully implemented at this stage. Now, there was something I was reading as well from another source that says that there's a potential security risk because of the way the nodes are set up on this project. Now, I'm not going to comment any further on it because that is just something that I read. And again, I'll put it there as a risk. And success of this project is going to pretty much fully depend on the adoption. Different companies that are wanting to monitor their supply chains, adopting this and using it. That's pretty much its only way it's going to succeed. So potential gains in this project then could be quite good, I feel. In an ultra bearish environment, I think it's going to suffer. It's quite volatile. It's going down at the moment. Even with a slight bearish sentiment in the market over 24 hours, you know, if there's a dip, this does tend to suffer. So in an ultra bearish market, it's going to go down 20%, I would feel, maybe even more. Again, bearish environment's not going to be too kind to it. It does sort of you know, ebb and flow with the market and, you know, as a whole, really. So it doesn't act independently. So in a bearish market, 10% down. But in a bullish market, this still hasn't shown any real growth since it was launched on the exchanges, since the ICO, and it was a very popular project, and I think it does remain so. So I'm quite bullish on it. I think in a bullish environment, a 10x of this project is quite easily achievable. We're at a $60 million market cap at the moment, $600 million if a big announcement comes up or a few serious partners get on board, you know, is easily achievable. And perma bullish, again, I can see this maybe, you know, $750, $800 million market cap quite easily, breaking into the top 100 quite easily in coin market cap. And, you know, again, I think at the moment it is quite undervalued. So yes, this presents itself as quite an attractive opportunity. So there you go, guys. That ends my little look at OriginTrail and the TRAC token. Now, I think it's a very interesting project. I'm not holding any currently, but I may actually dip into this project because I quite like it. It's got some big potential, and those rumors coming up, you know, I'll kick myself if they do announce these 120 partners and I've not got a big bag of it sitting in my wallet. So yeah, I'm very bullish on this project as well, as you could probably tell through the review. So let me know what you think about it. Do you like OriginTrail? Do you like this project? Do you think it's got potential for the future? Or, you know, is there another rival that you're invested in as well? You know, is it better? Why is it better? Let me know in the comments below. Let me know what you're thinking, guys. I do appreciate it, and I'll try to respond to all your comments as per usual. So thanks for watching. As usual, this isn't financial advice, guys. This is just me making these videos for entertainment purposes. I'm not a financial advisor. These videos should not be taken as financial advice. They're not meant to be construed as such. And if you are going to invest in any cryptocurrency or an ICO, please bear in mind they do pose inherent risk, and never invest more than you can afford to lose, and always invest wisely and cautiously, and always do your own due diligence as well, and do your own research. Don't listen to YouTubers. I keep telling you, get as much information from as many sources as possible, you know, all over the internet, anywhere from the website, white paper, reviews, you know, everywhere you can, and make your own mind up. Don't be swayed by what so-called experts or influencers on the internet say. Alright guys, thanks for watching. If you like the video, give us a like. If you haven't subscribed to the channel already, please do so by clicking that subscribe button and click that bell notification icon, and you'll get notified every time I upload new content. There's daily content on this channel, and I'm over on Facebook as well. Go and check me out there. I do exclusive videos every couple of days on Facebook with content that's not available anywhere else. Alright guys, thanks for that. See you later on.